Hello everyone, this is Tayyubanu, your host today from the platform of TechMetrics, and we have with us an amazing personal, Mr. Wasif Mazhar, who calls himself the Monday Man, and we will also like to know why he calls himself the Monday Man. Thank you so much, Mr. Wasif, for managing your time for the session today. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you so very much for having me on the show.
Okay, so the topic we have today is gamification, and the more interesting part is that we are discussing it in the context of learning and development. So, Mr. Vasif, how we have taken the gamification into this context where we were discussing the PowerPoints and PDFs and how this happened, all these things.
I think if we quickly talk about the transformation of training in particular across the globe, not only in Pakistan, but across the globe, I still remember 15 years ago, it was used to be death by PowerPoint. So in less than 15 years, I think the transformation has happened. And the key reason is the evolution of the entire system, how everything has evolved. Organizations have focused on different needs, and needs have changed as well. So when we talk about people development, I think one of the major tools that erupted or came up in the world of training was, taking people outside the classroom, outside those typical PowerPoint sessions. I've done it myself. We are still doing it as well. And one thing that came up was gamification. Now, for our users and for our listeners and viewers to understand, the idea of gamification was pick up the key elements of any particular game and deploy them around any particular idea, the initiative, or any sort of a thing that you want to do. So, picking gamification ideas of any particular game dynamics and putting them into a non-gaming element is how the gamification came up. So, in the last, I believe, as I said, 10, 15 years, the concept has evolved and has helped a lot of businesses, has helped teams, and have been helping individuals to perform better, to understand better, plan better, and not just only one profession, but I believe into marketing, into HR, into sales. All these professionals have been, gaining good amount of experience and learning from the approach of gamification.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much for your points on that. Uh, okay, let's talk about the practical side of it. If an HR, any professional wants this kind of gamification to be incorporated into their training and learning model, how does that fit in, and what are the measures a personnel should take before taking it to their organization?
That's a very, very valid and good question. I think if we start focusing on the key aspects, you need to be very sure, and focus on this aspect a lot. You need to be very sure if your business is ready. Your people readiness. If you have never done this sort of a thing ever before, this will be a big surprise for the business or for the people. So they need to be ready for the surprise. Creating a surprise element is good, but you need to create that sort of a element for the business and for the people that they also get glued to this sort of a thing. So work on the business and people readiness. Understand that the initiative that you're taking, don't just switch to gamification for the sake of it, just because everyone else is doing it and you want to do it as well. So make sure that all those elements that you're picking from any particular game can be integrated into your business, and then can be integrated to that particular activity or the learning that you want to take forward. So these are the two key steps before you start any gamification experience you need to work on. And last but not the least, make sure that the core, let's say KPIs, or the core mechanics that you're picking from one particular game uh, are aligned with the core of your own business as well. And only then you'll be able to create something tangible for the business or for people.
Okay, great. So you talked about the business and how you have to identify the core business and the things running in the organization already. So have you do you have any kind of a case study or some insight from any case study that has employed the gamification, or you have done something yourself that you can discuss here?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look at my journey before starting my own consulting company called Make It Happen Global, I worked in the field of HR and OD for a good 16 years across industry. And then it's been 4.5 years now that I'm running my own consulting company. So these 19, 20 years, I have been on the other side of the table myself as well before starting my own thing. So I completely know the dynamics. I understand the mechanics and how to drive this forward. So I've done it myself. And during the last 4.5 years, we've been on the go in Pakistan and globally now, Alhamdulillah, with organizations, working with them on all these core concepts. And I've done it myself over and over again. One of the key example that I can share with you for our viewers is one of the leading FMCG company in the world and in Pakistan as well. They came up to us where their sales were was getting a dip in high season as well, and they were unable to understand that even in their high peak season, why they're not able to drive the sales. So when we met the sales team, and we met the ultimate point from which they were generating the sales, we got to know that it is not about their approach, but actually how they're planning. So the gap that we came up with, the problem statement was in the gap that they were having in their planning and in the execution part. So we came up with an exercise which revolved around VUCA: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So we picked up all the key elements of VUCA and we applied them on Ludo, which is a very basic level, board game played in Asia in particular. So we picked up all the core KPIs of Ludo, which is a board game,
Oh, that's
and
good.
we created a sync with the business KPI. So let's say we had around, if I remember correctly, it was a 60 by 60 map which was on the ground, and entire 30-35 sales people were on that Ludo map. Now that map had business challenges written on it. So, for example, setbacks. So, whenever a human was used to stand on a setback, he was used to go back to the original point, taking the core of Ludo. And then there were plus points as well. So, if you score 5 and you land up on the bouncing board, which was mapped on that particular box, you will get a jump of 3. So, this is how you can plan it around business. But my humble advice, my suggestion to all HR and OD professionals in particular, please don't just plan it randomly. We took a month to plan it. That how will this work? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to run a gaming show, please. Where people can come and have fun and go back and they're super happy and charged.
Yeah.
That's good. That's superb, Kareem. But don't just run a gaming show. Run a program which is integrated with the business. So your CEO or business leaders, they also own it and they know what they're up for, and what they're signing for. Most of the cases that I've witnessed, a lot of teams plan it, but they plan it like a gaming show. So we are not running a Jito Pakistan here. We're talking about a hardcore business initiative where these gaming initiatives can be integrated with your business.
That's true. And when you are talking about the planning part, it reminds me of an Einstein quotation. It says, if I got with a problem, I will invest 95% of my time to identify the problem and only the 5% of time of solving it. So yeah, that's true that we have to invest so much of the time in assessment of the problem and then planning out and figuring out how we have to take it further. So, how have you observed the people who are
Absolutely.
immersed in that environment? Do they enjoy it a lot, and how you can justify the ROI? Since we are when we have transformed it into a gamification model, I believe that we can have some clear matrices, unlike the things which are verbal and the PowerPoint kind of training. उनको थोड़ा सा कैलिब्रेट करना मुश्किल होता है. लेकिन I believe when we are doing it in such a gamified version, we can make it quantifiable even easier. So when we can quantify it,
देखें
we can, justify ROI more easy. Is it like that? Or
मेरी I understand your question. बिल्कुल ठीक कह रही हैं आप. But my humble suggestion हमेशा होती है to my client organizations, जितने लोगों के साथ हम काम करते हैं, इससे पहले कि आप evaluation और ROI की तरफ जाएं, आप लोगों को enablement को पहला, that's the number one, that's not number two. ROI or investment is number two. Enablement is number one. If you have not enabled your people, they don't even know ये क्या हो रहा है and क्यों हो रहा है. How can you evaluate them? It's unfair to them as well and unfair to your own business. So इससे पहले कि आप किसी को evaluate करें, उसे enable तो करें, उसको उस बात का concept तो build करें, and then जरूर evaluate करें, बिल्कुल होना चाहिए, but that's number two. अब वो कैसे होना चाहिए अगर आप enable कर गए हैं, if you have enabled your teams and you think they're ready and you want to run an evaluation program or you want to run कि आपने make it happen global को engage किया था, उसका ROI क्या है, we will do it for you and we'll do it right on spot. You'll get to know. So as we said, gamification is about, in a nutshell, simple words में, gamification is about picking किसी भी game element के core और उसको non gaming पे deploy करना है. So आप जब ऐसा कर रहे होते हैं तो let's say किसी भी game के अंदर there is a scorecard. So what we do is whenever we are running this sort of a thing, हम एक scorecard वहीं on site deploy करते हैं. So teams can also get to know competitiveness भी built होनी है, recognition को भी build करना है, accountability को भी build करना है. So we talk about all these aspects, in a proper manner, so they get to know कि मेरी recognition, मेरा reward और मेरी accountability on spot जब build होती है business dynamics के अंदर, तो कैसा showcase हो रहा होता है. So scorecard के ऊपर let's say team alpha है, team beta है, team charlie है, सबका score आ रहा है and they get to know A. B, we also assign a leader, just like any game element. So let's say you pick up rugby or you pick up, you pick up basketball or you pick up any other team sports, be it football. So all these things are there. So for example, if you have red card, green card, yellow card in football, you need to deploy them in that gamification environment. अब वो गेमिफिकेशन एनवायरनमेंट में आप रेड कार्ड कैसे दिखाओगे, येलो कहाँ दिखाएंगे, रेड कहाँ दिखाएंगे, क्योंकि वो तो बिजनेस के एलिमेंट्स हैं. ये दिस इज वेयर द प्लानिंग आइडिएशन, आई कॉल इट द आइडिएशन पार्ट डिजाइन थिंकिंग की टर्म में. तो ये आइडिएशन सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हमने इसको डिजाइन कैसे करना है उस पूरे डायनामिक्स के ऊपर. So that's how you calculate or get to know the ROI. और वो obviously it's not gonna happen overnight. कोई lightning नहीं हो रही है कि कल सुबह आप उठेंगे तो सब ठीक हो जाएगा. It's a process, मैराथन की तरह है थोड़ा.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So आपने अभी बात की सेल्स की, जैसे आपने एक केस स्टडी रिपोर्ट की कि सेल्स के ऊपर आपने ट्रेनिंग करवाई इनकॉर्पोरेटिंग द गेमिफिकेशन. व्हाट आर द मेन एरियाज ऑफ ट्रेनिंग जो कि बहुत इफेक्टिवली मतलब ट्रेनिंग, गेमिफाइड ट्रेनिंग उनके लिए बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्टिव होती है, जैसे इधर इज डिसीजन मेकिंग और प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग या इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस वाली साइड में चली जाए. तो व्हाट आर द टॉप 3 to 5 एरियाज जहाँ पर गेमिफिकेशन सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्टिव रहती है?
I think if you talk about top 3 to 5, so I would say sales is one area which is very close to my heart. Second is leadership development. I think that is where you can, especially emerging leaders, जितने हैं mid tier के leaders, tier. उसके बाद टीम बिल्डिंग, आई थिंक दैट्स ऑन नंबर 3 फॉर मी, जहाँ पे आप बहुत सारे इन कॉन्सेप्ट्स को यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं. डिजाइन थिंकिंग इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट वेयर आई थिंक जेनेरिकली ऑल टीम्स शुड गो through it. So this design thinking concept should be there. And last but not the least, I think negotiation के जितने programs होते हैं, dialogue building के जितने programs होते हैं, उनके अंदर then again इसमें sales के ज़्यादातर लोग आ जाते हैं, but I believe कि negotiation और communication is one area where all professionals के अंदर ये cognitive है, ये वाली skill जो कि जिस पे काम होना हुआ है. तो these are 3 to 5 areas जिसके अंदर हम गेमिफिकेशन को इन जनरल अच्छे तरीके से वी कैन यूज इट.
बिल्कुल ठीक है. Okay, so we have got that point. So how do you believe, what are the future predictions we can make about gamification? What is the future? क्या AI उसके अंदर आ जाएगा और VR आ सकता है? किस किस्म की चीजें उसके अंदर आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं?
आई थिंक इट्स ऑलरेडी देयर तैयबा, बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो कि ऑलरेडी हो रही हैं, एंड आई थिंक फ्यूचर तो इज राइट नाउ. वी आर गो लिविंग द फ्यूचर राइट नाउ ऑलरेडी. एआई इज देयर. आपको मेटा ने एआई दे दिया है, चैट जीपीटी भी अलग है. देयर आर सो मेनी टूल्स अवेलेबल नाउ, and there are so many apps available where you can run this gamification experience online as well. I think post COVID, a lot of initiatives are now online. It's on an app. आप खुद भी develop कर सकते हैं अपनी कोई app आपने customize करनी है. We can help you. Me and my team, we can also help you as well. So I think it's already there. A lot of apps are there जहाँ पे ये सारे dynamics, चाहे वो sales के हों, leadership के हों, all these dynamics are already there, and organizations are already planning on it. So I think we are living the future right now.
Yeah, that's true. Can you cite one of your favorite tools or any application where the gamifications have been incorporated for the training purposes?
I think it again depends आपकी organization की need कैसी है, because बहुत सारी major apps हैं जो कि large scale पे काम कर रही होती हैं, और शायद वो आपका purpose fulfill ना करें. But बहुत सारी ऐसी apps हैं. I think Kahoot is one app which is generally used for such purposes. So you can check Kahoot, and you can check such other apps as well. My request to mid-sized companies or startups would be that you design something of your own need. It's not a big challenge now. So IT के अंदर बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग अवेलेबल हैं, बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप्स हैं जो कि आपको कस्टमाइजेशन की तरफ ले जाएंगे, and that's a good idea. So customize something around it. As I said, we can also help you in that if you reach out to us. But generally, as I said, Kahoot, and there are such other apps available as well.
Okay, right. Thank you so much, Wasif. You have got amazing topic. You have got amazing content on the topic, and I am super excited. I was, as I mentioned already, कि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा this topic is also closer to my heart as well. जैसे आपने भी कहा. Why? Let me tell you why this is very closer to my heart. There is a thing called implicit psychology, and there is explicit things. So most of the things which were happening in the PowerPoint thing, those were explicit, and we have learning. When the learning becomes explicit, तो वो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है उसको इंडिकेट करना. That's why the whole academia is not working much efficiently. And simultaneously, when we talk about the gamification, and जैसे बच्चे हैं, they learn. So parents, young parents, they are very excited कि ओ हमारा बच्चे को तो ये भी आता है, वो भी आता है, और वो टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ इतने इजीली वो चले जाते हैं. सो द पॉइंट इज कि वो इम्प्लिसिट लर्निंग वहाँ पर हो रही होती है, एंड द किड इज सुपर लर्नर, तो वो बहुत जल्दी चीज़ें सीख लेता है. एंड दैट्स द होल पॉइंट विच एक्साइट्स मी कि अगर हम इसी गेमिफिकेशन के अंदर, बिकॉज इट इज द इम्प्लिसिट लर्निंग, and it can help us make the things happen according to your motto. So I think this is an amazing concept, and we must work on that. And I am super thankful to you. And any concluding remarks if you would like to add, I'm very much open to that.
No, I think thank you so very much that you invited me over. I'm glad that I was able to inspire you and create something tangible for you as well, and for the viewers as well. My last humble suggestion to all HR and OD people, because I stay in touch with all of them. Alhamdulillah, as I said, we are a global company for the last 4.5 years. When we started off, it was never there, and recently we got global, Alhamdulillah. So globally भी बात होती है, locally भी जब बात होती है, I always say that, and when people ask me success का कोई mantra है, I don't think success का कोई mantra है. The only thing is the way you do it. Because irrespective कि कोई चीज़ चल रही है या नहीं चल रही है, I think जो value आप खुद से add कर सकते हैं चीज़ों के अंदर, जो आपका way of doing things है, आपका how है, वो बहुत सारी चीज़ों को define करता है. So as HR और as organizational development professional, जब आप organization में आते हैं तो बहुत सारे ऐसे concept हैं, in particular local companies के अंदर, जो आपको लगता है कि वो integrate नहीं हो पाएंगे. Digital savviness नहीं है लोगों के अंदर. जो टेन्योर्ड बेस्ड कुछ लोग हैं, लेगेसी बेस्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, वहां पे कॉन्सेप्ट कुछ कम होता है. बट आई थिंक अगर आप किसी की स्टेक होल्डर के साथ कनेक्ट बिल्ड कर लें, या बिजनेस की अंडरस्टैंडिंग को बिल्ड कर लें, तो बहुत सारे ऐसे कॉन्सेप्ट जैसे गेमिफिकेशन है, उनको आगे लेके जाया जा सकता है, जिसके अंदर बहुत सारी चीजों को इंटीग्रेट भी किया जा सकता है. यू कैन सर्च ऑन इट, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स अवेलेबल. You can always get in touch with me on LinkedIn or any other platform. I'm always here to help. generally as well. So make sure, जैसे आपने एक सवाल किया कि वासिफ कोई अच्छी ऐप बता दें, तो अब आपने अगर एक ऐप का सुना है तो यू कैन नॉट जस्ट डिप्लॉय इट, रिसर्च इट. ये आपकी खुद की भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एज HR, एज OD, एज अ लीडर, कि आप अंडरस्टैंड करें आप किस इंडस्ट्री में हैं, उस इंडस्ट्री को कौन सी ऐप सूट करेगी. बिकॉज इसके जहाँ पे गेमिफिकेशन इतनी एक्साइटमेंट लाती है, वहां पे ये बहुत सारी चीजों को चैलेंज भी करती है. सो यू नीड टू प्ले वेरी स्मार्ट, ताकि वो चीज बैकफायर ना हो जाए बिजनेस के लिए, आपके खुद के लिए.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that is a great insight, and we are almost ready to make this excitement into something tangible, and we can work on it and for really good purposes. Thank you so much, Wasif. I hope we will
जी जी.
get again together with some amazing concepts again. And thank you so much for it.
Inshallah. No, thank you so very much. Thank you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure. And बहुत अरसे बाद इस तरह के connect पे, I enjoyed it myself. Your questions were very upright, very crisp, very to the point, and I think it was a good learning experience for me as well. For your viewers, we can always stay in touch. I run a page called Wasif the Monday Man on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So you guys can always write to me directly as well, and we can catch up and create something exciting for you guys. Thank you, Taiba. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Wasif, for your valuable insights.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.